Hey everybody, this is Chloe over at IGN, and today I'm taking a look at the Dark Souls 3 Ashes of Ariandel DLC trailer. There is a lot of stuff to unpack here, and it all centers around this familiar site right here, the Painted World. I'm super excited to get to that, but for now we're going to start from the beginning. In this opening shot, we see our player character walking through this icy area. We see candles on the trees to the left, and on the right what appears to be this long-haired figure. Moving forward, it's a little hard to see, but it appears to be maybe some Abyss Watchers walking through the frost. Probably not super important. What's important right now is this character right here. We've seen statues of her before in Dark Souls 1 and 3. She is described as a black-haired witch. This could be Velka, Goddess of Sin. We'll get back to her in a second. So we see this black-feathered character hunched over what appears to be a Lord Vessel. Given Velka's association with crows, it's easy to suggest that this might be Velka herself, but Velka is actually the one doling out the punishment usually. She is the Goddess of Sin after all. And so here we see the character is actually whipping itself with what appears to be a very large version of Velka's talisman. This could be a follower of Velka's. Miyazaki has said in interviews that the crow creatures we see in Dark Souls 1's Painted World are followers of Velka who have been, quote, warped by their devotion to her. So we could be looking at Velka herself, maybe a follower of hers, or even someone that she is punishing. I actually have reasons to believe that this is Guinevere herself, the Queen of Lothric, according to popular fan theories, but we'll get back to that in a moment. So moving on, we get this pointy-hooded character kneeling in what appears to be the cleansing chapel outside Cathedral of the Deep. It's possible that this is an access point to the DLC, but that seems a little bit too easy to me. Now we get what appears to be a damaged painting. So knowing that the Painted World is somehow involved in this DLC, could this be the painting from Anor Londo? The concept art that we got from Bandai labels this character here on the right as the Painter, so it's possible that this is Ariandel, a descendant of Ariamis, restoring the painting. We'll find out soon enough. And so now we get this title card that just simply reads Dark Souls, and I'm wondering if that's meant to invoke memories of the first game, where we first saw Painted World. And I'm definitely getting some Dark Souls 1 vibes here. There's a giant wolf, probably not Sif, but a nice wink either way. And there we get that shot of the Painted World finally. Here, what appears to be the sewer of the Painted World with some nasty bug creatures that are probably not totally awful to fight. We get this cool guy right here. He's got this Nordic armor going on. It reminds me a little bit of Ben Hart from Dark Souls 2 with added moose antlers, and he's got this really powerful weapon art. So this weapon is really cool. It's a little hard to see in the video because of how fast it is, but it's a sword, a new sword that appears to be imbued with both magic and dark. It's hard to tell in the trailer, but in official concept art that we got of this sword, you can see that it has this really cool double helix blade thing going. Here we see a cleric casting some kind of death frisbee that boomerangs back. A mob of wolves is probably also not terrible to fight. And a really cool pyromancy or maybe some kind of torch upgrade that lets you blow fire at enemies. And here we see what I'm sure many spellcasters have been waiting for, ice sorcery. Okay, so now we see that character again from the Cleansing Chapel, handing, who is presumably the player character, this scrap of canvas, I'm assuming. It could be a shred of the original Painted World painting. Maybe this is how you access the DLC. Again, we'll just have to wait and see. Now we see all this blood flowing into that Lord Vessel, and we get this really interesting montage of random bosses from the base game, seemingly random. So we get Osiris, we get the Nameless King, we get Lothric and Lorien, and eventually we get Aldrich and, slash Gwendolyn. So at first I thought that this was just, like old Dark Souls and From Software games trailers have shown boss montages, but it's usually always been to show off new weapons or spells, but that's not what's happening here. We're just seeing the same old bosses, same old movesets, everything. This is partially why I believe that the crow demon we saw earlier is in fact Guinevere, the Queen of Lothric. All these characters are related to Queen Lothric in some way, right? We have supposed brothers, supposed sons. I know we've brought it up several times already, but I think this right here is actually the way that we access the DLC. It's easy to think that maybe this character is just casting a pyromancy. They're wearing the Cornix of the Great Swamp's armor right there. And they are in what appears to be the untended graves. But what I'm thinking is that you actually need to collect the souls of these characters and these characters who are related to Queen Lothric, and then that is how you summon the DLC. And now we get a closer look at that creature from earlier. This could be, again, Velka, Queen Lothric, anybody. It's not clear yet. But they are completely incinerating their boss room and actually fighting with the Lord Vessel, which is just brutal as hell. So that is it, you guys. That is Dark Souls 3 Ashes of Ariandel. I am super excited to play this myself. I'm sure I missed a lot in the trailer. There's just so much going on. Please let me know your thoughts, any of your observations in the comments. I would love to hear them. And for everything Dark Souls 3, you are already in the right place, IGN.